Welcome, dear friends. Today, I will tell you about the basic settings that each of you should set up almost without exception. Thanks to these settings, you will be able to coordinate better as a pair, shoot more accurately, use consumable items more effectively, and overall act much more confidently and cohesively in battle. So, the first thing we will start with is configuring the general game settings. In the sail transparency settings, select Always Transparent. This will allow you to aim better, as the sails will no longer block your view or interfere while shooting. I also recommend disabling the following settings: spyglass animation, transparent designs, and camera shake. You will no longer lose time on the spyglass animation, which will allow you to react faster in battle. Transparent sails will also help you navigate better when there are many ships around and will not block your view while firing. Next, configuring the wind display settings. I would recommend enabling the wind display on the sea rather than on the mini-map. I have played with both options, so I can speak from experience. At first glance, it may seem more convenient to have it on the mini-map. However, in PvP battles, it is much more comfortable to see the wind directly near your ship instead of constantly looking at the mini-map. This way, you keep your focus on maneuvering and shooting without having to shift your attention just to check the wind. Next, we will move on to the interface settings. Here are two very important options that everyone must enable. The first thing you should do is disable the mini-map rotation. Why this is important? I'll explain now. When the mini-map stays stable and does not rotate while you turn, it becomes much easier to tell your allies where the enemy is by using the clock direction method. For example, enemy at 3 o'clock, enemy at 7 o'clock, and so on. This makes coordination in battle faster and clearer for the entire team. Also, when you are building hostility in a city or fighting near it, clock directions are usually given relative to the center of the city. For example, enemies at 5 o'clock, 2 patrols at 12 o'clock, and so on. This method allows you to pass information to your allies quickly and clearly, without wasting time on long explanations. What other reference points can you use? You can also use map landmarks. For example, enemy at the upper lighthouse on the right or enemy at the left lighthouse. However, you should avoid saying enemy on me. In battle there can be many of you, and not all players will recognize your voice or immediately understand where you are. That's why it's better to always give a clear reference point: clock direction, lighthouse, island, or another visible landmark on the map. This makes the information clear for the whole team. Next comes the aim view settings. The aim view must be set for each cannon. This is mandatory, no discussion. It is the best aiming option available in the game, allowing you to control your shots and hits much more accurately. Now I will show my own control setup as an example, which I personally use. Controls should be set up in the way that is most comfortable for you. The main thing is that you can perform the necessary actions quickly during battle. So, we've finished with the settings. I would also like to mention a small feature of the WOSB community, what I would call the Falconet Language. What does this mean? You may have noticed that sometimes allies, when they meet each other at sea, fire a few falconet shots near a ship or even at an ally. In fact, this is simply a greeting. Sometimes a falconet shot, without hitting anything, simply fired in a certain direction, can also be used to indicate a direction. So you should not be alarmed by this under any circumstances. Among allies, It is a normal and long-established way of communicating. I also ask you to write in the comments what topics you would like to learn more about. I will make a list of ideas for the next videos. And of course, leave a like and subscribe. This will help me see that you are really interested in this format and in lessons like these. That's all from me for today. Let's finish watching the battle and then go set everything up the right way.
Паруса отдать! Огонь! Паруса отдать! Пушки к бою готов! Все паруса! Мало прочности! Огонь! Мало прочности! Пушки к бою готов!